Hello, Wonderland. Kelly here. Out for a wander today in the mountains. Shenandoah National Park, to be specific. Been a while since I've made it over here. Much to my chagrin, the mountains always call my name. It's about time I listened. All right, got a few shortish hikes planned today. The sun is just coming up over the ridge here in front of me. Yeah, let's get to it. Shenandoah. I love this park. This is like my church out here, you know. Grew up in Florida where there were no mountains. And it turns out all along I was a mountain boy. So, first trail of the day is the Lewis Springs Trail. Lewis Falls, all of the above. It's out and back, a little over 1.5 miles. But obviously the payoff is the namesake, the Lewis Falls, which I've never been to before. The trails I'm doing today are all kind of in the same general area. If you're not familiar with Shenandoah Park, it's a really long strip of park. I'll have to look up the mileage from the southern entrance to the northern entrance. But yeah, it's a really long park. Skyline Drive is the main road that runs through it. And all along Skyline Drive, kind of like the Blue Ridge Parkway, there's lots of pull-offs and overlooks and trailheads, and yeah, super nice. But I'm in the Big Meadows area, which is near the middle, I would say, of the park as a whole. And yeah, all the trails that I have in mind today are in the same couple-mile stretch of Skyline Drive. So yeah, concentrate on one particular area. 2 of them are Waterfalls trails, and one is a mountain summit with some rock scrambling, which sounds challenging and interesting and maybe dangerous, so I might be careful with that one. Of course, I will be careful with that one. But for now, Lewis Falls, on we go. So weather-wise today, right now it's foggy, but despite the fact I'm wearing a hat just because of the breeze, it's unseasonably warm. Last week was frigid and snowy and icy, and this park was actually closed because Skyline Drive was iced over, which happens fairly frequently in the winter. But today it's in the 50s already. It's pretty early. I set out nice and early this morning. Yeah, so if the sun burns off the fog and the clouds, it should be a beautiful day. I don't mind a bit of overcast. It actually makes for better photos. And the fog, if I can get some good shots of misty forest and stuff, I've already got a couple. Yeah, I enjoy that. Shenandoah is good for wildlife. I already have seen several deer, and they're not real scared of people here because there's no hunting allowed in the park usually. And they're fairly used to people, as they see a lot of people. So yeah, one of them, I feel like, crossed the street just to check me out. So I'm hoping to see more of those. Birds, of course. Brought my big gun, the 100 to 500, in case there's some birds around. And hopefully with the weather being warmer, there will be. So we'll see. On we go. Oh, and of course I should mention, photographically, the aim today is whatever I see. I'm really here to enjoy the park and being in the mountains. So I think I've brought sufficient gear that whatever I find, I can capture fairly well. Yeah, so whether it's scenic, wildlife, details, waterfalls, of course, will be a thing. And I'm already hearing water up ahead, so that's a good sign. All right, see what we can find. enjoy these little cascades that lead towards the big fall, which should be down there somewhere. But I like to capture these too. So let's see what we can do here. I'm kind of liking this branch here in the foreground. Might be able to get some interesting stuff focusing on that. With the water cascade in the background. Let me elevate a little bit here. We're shooting through it. Might be interesting. I think I mentioned I'm shooting the R5 today. Right now I've got the 15 to 35 on there. Let's see what this does for me. I'm going to go to f2.8. Why not? ISO 100. I'm going to go to 50. I want to blur the water a little bit at least. I could pop out the neutral density filters, but I'm bad about doing that too. So right now I'm focusing on the branch with the water blurred in the back. See what that looks like. Get a portrait version. I like to refocus. Okay, now I'm going to try focusing on the water through the branches, and we'll see what that looks like. And I'm at 35 millimeters here. I think I can drop my exposure down to 1/40th, maybe 1/30th. Let's do that. A little more blur in the water. And the colors here I like. The green moss on the rocks, the leaves fallen. Not bad at all. Okay, let's see how that comes out. This is great so far, but it's pretty much been all downhill. And that means the way back is going to be uphill, obviously. But totally worth it. Up there, that's interesting. I'm seeing this little rivulet comes down, and you can't see it back up there, but there's a trickle waterfall way up there on the cliff. Fun stuff. And this goes down here, and I'm heading down towards the main falls, I believe. So we're getting there. Let me watch my step here. So, mountain hiking tip. Layers. Always dress in layers. You kind of never know what the weather's going to be like up in the mountains. It's usually going to be cooler than the surrounding lowlands just because of the elevation and the winds sometimes. But hiking in the mountains is exertive. Is that a word? So my general rule of thumb, what I heard somewhere, is that if you plan to be hiking, walking, biking, exerting yourself, dress like it's 20 degrees warmer than it actually is. And I think that's about right. Yeah, so I started out this morning with pants, t-shirt, and a sweater, and I have a jacket, and I had my wintry cap, as you saw, which I've already shed. And I'm getting ready to take off the sweater because it's still in the mid-50s, I would say. It's feeling like about 75, so that's about right. Yeah, and I have just started, so may end up in, these are actually convertible pants. The legs, bottom parts of the legs come off, so yeah, might end up in basically shorts and a t-shirt before long here. In the middle of January, in the Virginia mountains. That ain't right. Okay, I'm seeing, let me flip around again. Down there, that looks like the overlook for the falls. Are you seeing that? Hopefully you're seeing that. Down there, yeah. So the trail makes another hairpin turn up here. And then I will be there. Let's see what it looks like. I already like the glimpse I'm catching. Let's get this view together for the first time. Coming up to the sign. Don't climb the waterfall. Naturally. I'm sure people do and have. Oh, that's nice too. The ridge out there. That's going to be a shot or two. here, coming up on treacherous rocky part. Oop, step down. All right, and here, the falls go from up there. We trickle down here, and then actually, can't even see the best part from here, which is where that water's going over the edge there. It drops for, I want to say, a good 50 or 60 feet. Yeah, if you can see way down there, that's where the stream continues, so that's quite a drop. I need to see it. Don't worry, I won't be stupid, but I gotta get to a good place where I can get a better view. We'll find something. So, from that side of the falls, there was really no way down to get a better view that wasn't insanely dicey, even if I wasn't alone and was in good shape. But then I noticed some railing across the way and realized the trail continues to this, an observation point. And from here, you can actually see the falls. That's nice. With the ice, you can tell it was cold here recently. Certainly not cold today. I'm already breaking a sweat. Okay, I need to rest for a minute. Get some shots here. Show you what I come up with. So, I took the trail actually beyond this observation point. It keeps going a little ways to another vantage point that was still fairly obstructed, but not too bad. I think I got some good stuff there. But here, I guess this is probably my best shot, kind of straight on the falls here with the ice along the side. So I've switched to the 24-70. So I want to be able to zoom in a little closer on the water and the ice. So let's see what we can do here. I'm going to start at about 50 millimeters. I'm at 1/10 of a second to blur the water. ISO low, F10. Snap a few portraits because that's the way the water's going. But then I'm going to zoom out here and see if I can get a good landscape. And then I'll go to 70 and really zoom in on the ice there. I think I'll actually switch to the 100 to 500 here and get some close-ups of the ice with the water behind it there. All right, done at Lewis Falls, I think. Beautiful spot. Totally worth it. But now I get to hike back up and out. So, probably go radio silent for a bit, save my breath. All right, on to the next. The trail is kind of taking me towards the sun, so I've been getting some sun star shots, which is easy enough to do for the sun or any other point light source. You just want to stop your aperture down. I usually find f10 to f13 works pretty well. Probably the lower you go, the better, but f11's a fairly sweet spot for starting to get decent sun stars. And then there was a big rock formation, and I got some shots of it with the sun stars. And then I heard a chipmunk. I was sure of it. They're usually dormant this time of year, but it's warm enough today, so I was thinking maybe they woke up. And sure enough, I saw a chipmunk. I didn't get to shoot it. They hide pretty quick. And then I heard another one. And I didn't see that one at all, but they're out. cool if I see one. I'll keep an eye out and an ear. Yeah. Getting close to the car. I'm starting to hear cars on Skyline Drive. But I've been shooting a little bit of winter vegetation, which doesn't sound that attractive, right? But now and then, they have a lot of nice textures, particularly in the winter, like this guy. I shot one of him earlier. I don't know what it is, but I like the spiky balls. Okay, back onward. All right, I ate a quick lunch, and I think before I head to the next hike, I'm right up the road from the Big Meadows area. It's a complex with like a visitor center. I think there's a restaurant, a gas station. During the season, it's all closed right now. For the winter, they're not real busy for the winter here. So yeah, I'm gonna run up there because with all the deer that I've been seeing, I'm thinking the field there at Big Meadows, hence the name, might be full of them. So let's take a look. So far, I'm wrong about the deer here at Big Meadows. I'm seeing lots of tracks. I know they hang out here, but I guess now is not the time. But changing my agenda a little bit. I'm thinking 3 mountainous hikes is a little too much for my current state of fitness. So I'll replace one with this hike, which is pretty flat, just around the Big Meadows, which is beautiful. This is, haven't done this before. Super nice. And maybe there will be deer tucked away in a corner of the field or something. This area, this park was built by the Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, during the Great Depression, one of the New Deal programs. And one of the camps, maybe the main camp, I don't know. It was in this field, basically. So there's history here too. And you know I like that. This tree here impresses me, especially when the sun hits it and you can see there's a pinkish plant growing all around its base. I want to get a closer look to see what that is. But yeah, when the sun hits it just right, it really stands out. And the rocks next to it, I like all that. I like it all. So I've got the 35mm f1.8 on here right now. And here comes the sun, I think. So I'm focusing on the tree. I'm doing HDR here just because I want to keep this sky detail. Yeah, that's pretty bright right there, isn't it? Yeah, I think I can get a little closer too. Let's move over here. I'm pretty sure all these trails that I'm utilizing aren't so much people trails as deer trails. I think they've just worn them into the meadow over the years. So there's lots of deer tracks, lots of deer scat. It's not bad. Ooh, I'm going to use these rocks to my advantage. A little bit of elevation here. Yeah, oh yeah, I like that. The sun is cooperating. Oh, there comes a cloud coming over. That dappled light might be interesting if I can get a bit of light and shadow going on. But I don't want all shadow like this. Let's give it a minute, see what happens. So the clouds are pretty broken. And you can see, if I turn over there, hopefully, you can see the light playing on the surface. And over there, ooh, that one's coming my way. You can see the line of light coming. This is fun. Still haven't seen any actual deer out here, which kind of surprises me, given the evidence and that I've seen this field full of deer before. That's why I thought that might be the case today. All right, it's coming, it's coming. Waiting for the sun. That's a Doors song. All right, so we'll watch it. It's reaching me. Watch it hit the tree. Get a couple landscape and portrait. And for portrait, trying to get the tree kind of low and the sky filling most of the frame. I like that negative space, especially with the clouds. That's drama today. All right, good. I'm gonna get closer and see what that pink plant is at the base. So here, hopefully, if the sun will come back again, you can see that pink I was seeing here. It's all this stuff down at the base. It's not flowers, it's just the stalks of these plants, which is pretty neat. And as they go towards the tree, it fills it in all pink. So I'm liking that. And I'm thinking what I want to do is get low, but somewhere where it's not as obstructed. And of course, the tree behind is the star of the show. That's just a neat tree. If you like trees. Yeah, this is cool. Do some HDR action here. Focusing on the tree. Chimp a little. That looks real cool. I like it. Now let me go over here. Check out these rocks. Any, unique features in the landscape are what you're looking for, right? So that rock with the pink on one side, the tree on the other. If I get down low, I don't like that little shrub in between. I wonder if I could remove that in post. It's worth a try. Okay, let's see. So now I still want to focus on the tree. I want to get the rocks over on the side there. Shooting HDR, you've got to kind of, the way I do it is neutral, -2, +2 stops of exposure. So you need to think about what your first exposure should be. Do you want it to kind of focus on the, let me flip around again. Oh, there I am. Do you want to focus on or expose for the sky to begin with? That's usually going to make your other exposures too dark or bright. Yeah, no, dark, yeah. Or if you want to expose for the subject in your neutral frame and then hope 2 stops is enough to get the sky detail or in the shadow detail. So sometimes I'll kind of split the difference. If there's an area where the horizon meets the sky, I'll maybe meter around there, because that's usually kind of in between the subject and the sky. Yeah, that's a nice tree. Take a look at this thing. I'm not sure what kind it is. It's some kind of pine, I think, but it's very distinctive. Yeah, love it. I'll have to look it up. I'll tell you what it is. Meanwhile, I'll shoot it some more. tree to the right. Wonder if I can zoom in. Let's see. There's a bird. Pretty big bird. I think it's a hawk. I'm going to switch lenses and try to shoot it. And if it's the one I heard, it's a red-tailed hawk. And a bit of trivia for you. If you're ever watching a movie or TV show and you see a bald eagle and there's a cry, that's usually not a bald eagle but a red-tailed hawk, because they sound a lot cooler. Eagles don't have very nice voices, really. No. All right, let's see if I can shoot this guy before he leaves. I think a lot about the CCC, because going to CCC parks around the country is one of my favorite things, because they're all just so nice. The craftsmanship that went into them, all the trails and the buildings, shelters, observation decks, stairways, it's all really nice stonework that you don't see hardly anywhere else. So that was a real boon to people who like public spaces and parks, especially nature parks. And I've often thought that they should have brought the CCC back, like during the Great Recession in the late 2000s. Would have been a good idea. And in fact, when elected your president, I would make a permanent CCC, personally. There's no downside to it. You're taking young men and women who would probably right now join the military, which needs people too, sure, but instead of sending them to the meat grinder of the military, you're giving them a trade, a job. And the job is to make public goods, public spaces that are good for everybody. And it's an economic boon because you're paying the people to work. They're spending that money in the local economy. You're buying supplies for them, food and whatnot. That goes into the local economy. You're making public spaces that attract people to spend money in the local economy. It all just makes sense. And the world does not make sense, which is why we're not doing it. There you go. All right. Here's where I am. Big Meadows. See the stonework? That's what I'm talking about. That's just nice. So, I'm walking up Skyline Drive back towards my car. Somebody's car alarm started going off. Not a great sound here. So yeah, going back to the car, I think I'm going to try one more hike. And I'm going to try Naked Creek Falls. And it's not actually an official trail. There's a pull-off for Naked Creek Overlook. And from that overlook, there's, I guess, an unofficial trail that's a straight shot, straight down the mountain, down the hill, to the falls. And then back up again. Not looking forward to that. But yeah, it's supposed to be a secluded and a nice falls. So I'll give that a try while I'm here. And then I might be exhausted. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned. Yeah, this is not a trail at all. I can kind of tell people have been this way, maybe. According to All Trails, I'm using All Trails for this one. I'm definitely on the right track, and I think I hear running water in the distance, heading towards Naked Creek. But, yeah, fairly smooth downhill grade so far, but it's not going to be fun climbing back up this. I'm not looking forward to that. It's better be worth it. I found Naked Creek. Now I just follow this down to the waterfall, which I think is not too much further that away. All right, there's actually two falls here. There's this one over in the distance there. If you can see that, let me zoom in. Very nice. Hopefully I can get a good angle on that. And then over here, it goes over the edge again. Let me see if I can get over there safely. Pretty neat. Thinking this was worth it. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I left my microphone on the bag. But waterfall photography, almost like cheating. When it's such a pretty scene, there's not much else to do than just shoot it. Obviously the main technique is to drag your shutter, use a slow shutter speed so the water blurs into a sheet. And I've talked about that before. I usually shoot for about 1/10 of a second. A lot of people like to go longer, but to me that starts looking too fake, like a real sheet of water. I still want to see lines in it, you know. I don't know. I want to see a little bit of, not detail per se, but at least more clear that it's water, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just sitting here taking this scene in, but shooting a few shots of it. I'm dragging the shutter in manual mode. I'm doing some HDR as well, just to see if it's not really a scene that needs it, but it might bring out some interesting detail when I merge those exposures. So see how that looks. Yeah, otherwise, I'm just going to relax here for a few minutes before I start the grueling trek back to the car. I lied. I forgot about the main attraction here. Naked Creek Falls behind me. There was a little scramble to get down here, so not too bad. But wow. I was so captivated by that side fall, which was awesome. I forgot about this one, which is also awesome. I gotta tell you, I wasn't enjoying the hike because of the lack of trail. So I was thinking, these falls better be worth it. I'd say they are. I'm very impressed. And in fact, I think there's another one. Hold on. Picking my way along a side creek bed here. Let's see what's over still some ice on all these. That's not yet melted. Bit of a drop. But wow, look at that. I'm not going down any further than this, but this is impressive. Wow, that spot is a real hidden gem. I love those falls. That's quickly, instantly becomes one of my favorite waterfalls in the area. So the Lewis Falls hike was nice, but the falls were kind of mediocre because you could really only see them from the top, and that's not ideal. This one though, man, several falls. You get right up close to all of them, top and bottom, mostly. I'm really stoked to look at the photos from that. All right, but now this is the hill I must climb. Oh, it keeps going to get back to the car, so that's what I'm gonna do. Whew. I'll say goodbye then, in case I see anything good on the way. Yeah. Well, that was every bit as exhausting as I expected. Whew. Took it slow, took a lot of breaks. Now I'm exhausted, ready to go home. All right, today was a good day. I didn't do quite the things that I expected to do, but what I did, not bad. One good hike with mediocre falls, one bad hike with great falls, and the meadows, which was neat. I'd never seen the CCC camp before, so that was a treat as well. I'd say wildlife was the disappointment today. I heard some, saw a little bit, didn't really get to shoot much though. But the scenics I got, especially at the waterfalls, I think I will be pleased with those. So not a bad day at all, especially for this time of year. I can't believe I'm sweaty in the middle of January. It's a little crazy. Okay, till next time, be good to yourself, take care of each other. Don't forget to be awesome. Get out and wander. Later.